Well, today I have the distinct privilege of handing out our final award, and it is the highest honor that we can bestow on a member of our alumni family. It's the William Howard Taft Medal for Notable Achievement. As many of you know, the namesake for this medal grew up less than a mile from campus and earned a UC law degree. William Howard Taft led a life dedicated to serving his community and his country, culminating in his becoming our nation's 27th president and 10th Chief Justice, our most illustrious Bearcat. Likewise, the roster of Taft medalists through the years includes giants from a wide range of fields and professions: business, education, healthcare, engineering, science, architecture, civil rights, wildlife preservation. The list of recipients and their contributions is as varied as society itself. Tonight, these superlative leaders are joined by an extraordinary man who is devoted to excellence within perhaps the most indispensable field. Let me tell you about Dean Kereiakes. Dean Kereiakes' association to UC started a generation ago when his dad, Jim Kereiakes, earned a pair of advanced degrees from UC before becoming a research scientist for the US government. When Dean was 6, his father moved the family to Cincinnati, when he joined the faculty here, ultimately becoming a nationally respected professor of radiology and a prominent radiation physicist. Dean attended college at UC and was exposed to people and situations within the UC community that appealed to his curiosity, intelligence, and work ethic. He became a student leader and earned his undergraduate degree in 3 years, with his senior year overlapping with his first year of medical school. He went on to be valedictorian of his College of Medicine class. Postgraduate training took him to a pair of the country's top institutions for cardiology. He interned and did his residency at the University of California, San Francisco, before doing his senior residency at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Then it was back to San Francisco for fellowships in adult cardiology and coronary angioplasty. It was then that fate delivered him back home. As Dean became established in Cincinnati, the breadth and depth of his work have allowed him to have a tremendous impact in his field. Dr. Kereiakes was the founder and CEO of the largest cardiology subspecialty group in Ohio, which became the cardiovascular service line of the Christ Hospital. He was the founder and medical director of the Carl and Edith Lindner Center for Research and Education, which is one of the nation's top clinical research sites. He directed the establishment of the Lindner Heart Failure Treatment Center, a 30-bed inpatient unit dedicated to the treatment of congestive heart failure. Among his accomplishments are more than 1,600 clinical research protocols and 1,200 plus peer-reviewed scientific journal articles, abstracts, and book chapters. Dean's expertise has made a life-altering or life-saving difference for tens of thousands of patients. Beyond that, his research and innovation has brought new technologies and new approaches to his field that have had incalculable ripple effects on so many lives worldwide. Many of those patients were told that nothing more could be done for them, or that they needed procedures that others couldn't or wouldn't do. Dean's personal and professional ethos has been to say yes, to try and find a way, and he usually does. When the FDA approves a new medical device or drug to establish the next advance in treating heart patients, there's a good chance Dr. Kereiakes' fingerprints are on it. He has been named one of the best doctors in America and received the Samuel Claflin Visionary Award from the American Heart Association for his cardiovascular research. Importantly, in doing so, much to advance his field, he's always been adamant about keeping an uncompromising schedule of hands-on work. He also remains especially committed to engaging with his patients in such a way as to never lose sight of the impact of his work in the most human terms. In many ways, he is Next Lives Here personified. Fellow Bearcats, it's my privilege to present the William Howard Taft Medal for Notable Achievement to Dr. Dean Kereiakes.
Ruthie, Kathy, Sean, superb, really. I am privileged to be part of this event this evening. I want to start by thanking President Pinto for that very gracious introduction. I'm extremely grateful to the University of Cincinnati and the UC Alumni Association for this incredible distinction, which is clearly one of the major highlights of my career. I'm both honored and humbled to be associated with the list of past Taft Medal recipients, as well as the award's namesake. I want to give special thanks to Craig Linder, Carl Graff, Todd DeGarmo, who nominated me for this award, and I'm blessed to have my three siblings, all of which are here tonight, Dr. Tom Kereiakes, Penny Pomerantz, and Beth Brendamore. Last but certainly not least, I'm immensely grateful to my wife, Anne, who has enabled and encouraged all of my achievements, because they're really our achievements, with her patience, understanding, and support, and each of our four grown children who are also here this evening, Jenna, David, Andrew, and Nick, who have been my biggest fans. I'm eternally grateful to the Christ Hospital as an institution, the CEO, Deb Hayes, the multiple board members who are here in attendance this evening, as well as my partners and colleagues, for their unwavering support of me personally and professionally, and for their support of this event. The University of Cincinnati has always been part of my DNA. From my father, James G. Kereiakes, a professor of radiology and Daniel Drake Medal recipient in 1994, to the remarkable individuals he worked with who inspired me at a very young, impressionable age to become a physician. People like Charlie Barrett, Ben Felsen, Jerry Wyatt. My undergraduate experience at UC honed my interpersonal and leadership skills, specifically as president of Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity. And I want to acknowledge the large contingent of SAE brothers who are here this evening. I am grateful for your presence and support, but more so for the decades of fraternal brotherhood. Also, as a member of the Interfraternity Council and Sigma Sigma, my Sigma Sigma brothers are here tonight in force, celebrating their 125th year. ODK and other campus organizations. You know, the UC College of Medicine gave me opportunities and responsibilities that prepared me exceptionally well to compete, second to none, on both coasts, at the University of California, San Francisco, and at the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. It was Harvard's main teaching hospital. While in San Francisco, I had the opportunity to work with the two physicians who actually introduced coronary balloon angioplasty to the United States. Now, during that time, Ann and I were visited by Carl Linder Jr., who stopped by our very humble apartment while on a business trip to Los Angeles. Carl eventually asked me two questions. He said, "What kind of equipment do you need to do the type of work you do? And second, why should I have to go to Cleveland, Houston, or anywhere else to get leading-edge cardiac care?" Within weeks, I received a call from Jack Cook, then CEO of the Christ Hospital, who informed me that Mr. Lindner had donated the exact cardiac catheterization laboratory that I had described over dinner in San Francisco. Carl had sent me a message that I clearly understood. I turned to my wife, Ann, and I said, "I think we're going to Cincinnati." Then I called Mr. Lindner, and I promised him that we would bring leading-edge cardiovascular care to Cincinnati, and the patients would not have to leave home to get the care they needed. I was inspired by the intense civic pride and sense of civic responsibility that I witnessed in Carl Lindner Jr., which fortunately remains exemplified to this day by his sons, Carl III and Craig. Now, since that decision, we've tried to bring every new cardiovascular medical device or medication to Cincinnati years before they become commercially available through clinical trials, research trials that are conducted through the Carl and Edith Lindner Center for Research and Education. These have included some 19 first in the world, 41 first in the United States, and counting novel therapies, medical devices, or medications. Now, we've helped countless members of our community, patients from dozens of different states and from outside the United States. And this work has culminated in thousands of scientific medical publications and presentations and has contributed to the U.S. FDA approval of dozens of new drugs and medical devices. But this work has, however, not been without its physical toll. 4 days after receiving the call from Jennifer Heisey notifying me that I'd been selected for this award, I developed acute cervical spinal cord compression, likely due to the cumulative impact of wearing lead aprons for radiation protection during almost 30,000 cardiac procedures spanning over 40 years. On the morning of February 6, I was a functional quadriplegic at the time of urgent cervical spine decompression surgery. Obviously, the speed and expertise of surgery, providence, and intensive rehabilitation have provided a miraculous recovery that is still in progress. Thank you. As a medical man, medicine is what I do, and it is also, frankly, who I am. Suddenly, the tables were turned by a striking role reversal. The event also provided time for pause and reflection. I think those of you in the audience who have had or experienced a life-threatening or potentially life-defining event may have had similar pause and possibly even question, why did this happen to me? Well, let me propose an alternative approach. With the concept that life doesn't happen to us, but rather for us. Only by embracing rather than lamenting these life challenges can we focus on that which we can control and ignore that which we can't. Amor fati literally translates from Latin as love of fate. Now, the word love may be a little strong when considering quadriplegia, even transiently, or a heart transplant, as was the case for last year's Taft Medal recipient, Brother Todd DeGarmo. If understandably one's less enthusiastic, resolute acceptance is still required to view such challenges as opportunities to be a better person, to be more kind, to grow, or to help others. Although we can't change the challenges that life unexpectedly presents, we can change our response to them. And that simple revelation gives us control. Indeed, our response will determine whether the life event defines or defeats us, whether it dictates our future course, or whether we subsequently emerge with a new sense of purpose and direction. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you rise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In closing, I'd like to reiterate my most sincere and deep gratitude and appreciation for this recognition. I want to wish each and every one of you here tonight, along with your families, from the bottom of my heart, good health, happiness, and safety. God bless.
I'll bring this back to you.